time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome. Patrick Johnson Show for the Working Man's Beach. Great to have you with us here. Nice of you to be along as we get underway. Our third day back from this hiatus that we had for summer break, and we are hitting the ground running with a very exciting Top 5 at 5 coming up today. Also a visit with our old friend Brian Mull. Lots to talk about here. Okay, so Pilk, I'm just reading what you're saying there. It's silenced here when she said, okay. So that, what you've sent me is clean? Am I to understand that?
Yeah. Let me check one more time. I think there's one time she might have got close to saying something else, but I'm looking at it.
Well, if she said A double crooked letter, that's fine. Or H-E double high.
Yeah, or hell.
That's okay. I just don't want any F-bombs being hurled. We, had the Stephanie White audio to play as part of the Top 5 because that was just the unraveling of a maniac. And I was curious to play that. We do have a lot of audio to put on today for you, too, with our Top 5 at 5. So I'm really just waiting and vamping a little bit for Philip the Ref Pilkington.
Yeah, it said the donkey word, but it skipped over the donkey word, too. So actually, we're double good.
Well, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Double good. Well, before we get going here, our buddy Dickie Carrata is going to be with us. It looks like Friday. He's got his book signing coming up at Chico's in downtown Sunday. And it is 5 until 7 for Dickie's book, I Am a Pirate. Dickie was a great two-sport star as an ECU Pirate, baseball and football. And Dick Carrata, who we've had on the show. Dick has also been on with Philip in a couple of incarnations. We'll have him on to see how his summer's doing, or was. Talk to him a little bit about football season and promo up his book signing for Friday. We had another guest for Friday. I may move that guest to next week. We will see. Going to get into a little bit here. Do we have anything with the 5 and 5 2022 rule? Oh, I know we have a story about an athlete.
So we got a story about a basketball athlete, but then there's no sound from the other one. We're gonna mention what was said by the former ECU, potential, hopefully future ECU players as well. That's number 2, and then the basketball thing's number 3.
Well, we've got a guest tomorrow that is going to be with us to talk about this as well. So more on that later on in the show. Right now, because we do want to get to Brian Mull to talk golf, and I also want to get his take on this. You know, there's a couple of things. Brian has covered basketball. He's, in fact, kind of been working now on some of the preseason publications, the big thick one that all the basketball nerds get. I get. It's kind of like the Phil Steele magazine of basketball. And then he also does stuff for Lindy's. So that's kind of what he's working on right now, among other things. But we have I just want to kind of get his thoughts on the latest thing with Trimble, former UNC guy. Tell you about it here in a minute. And I know John Gilbert spoke yesterday about the basketball schedule for ECU, and it's been a little maligned, the non-conference schedule, because there's a couple of non-D1s on there. So we'll get Brian's take on that, maybe play the John Gilbert audio from that. Okay. Right now, let's jump in, though. 2 feet first to our Top 5 at 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
Ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
How are you smelling like coffee? Because you got coffee spilled on you this morning.
I might still, I don't know, Adam, do I smell like coffee at all? He said, not too bad. So, PJ, my sock is dry finally. It was not dry last we talked. And that's why I like that, that you're farther away from me. You and Steven
Yes.
are farther away, so I don't have to worry about. So you drinking there a nice soda there, pop, as they said back in the day. And I don't have to worry about you spilling that on me like another host on these.
Speaking of pop,
there we go.
Corn Pop was a bad dude. Just so you know that. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Adam Hill there with Pilk today providing production assistance, and Logan Wilcox providing some production assistance as well today for the show. We appreciate that. All right. What do we got, Pilk? Let's do it. Top 5.
Number one.
All righty. Number 1, we got our first crack at the press or at the coordinators earlier today for the ECU side of things. First, we were here, Jordan Davis, the offensive coordinator. He kind of just goes through all the positions on the offensive side of the ball and says who's been impressing him.
Starting up front, I think Bryce Weaver. I think he's had a really good camp. Obviously, he's an older guy that has it down. His technique-wise, I think Hayes Krill's done a really good job. Obviously, you guys know what Brock Spalding can do. He's a really reliable guy who's made some really big plays. And then the running back room, I thought Michael Allen's looked extremely good. He's been the most consistent, I think, in that room. He's doing a really good job, whether it's catching the football, running downhill, but he's done a lot of good things. So I'm excited about those guys. I think Ice is doing a really good job. Ishmael's doing a really good job as well at the tight end position.
You didn't mention the quarterback there, Pilk. What up with that?
Same exact thing we heard from Blake. Still both guys repping with the ones, so not much to report on there.
And then we heard from the new defensive coordinator.
Yep, here is Jordan Hankins talking about how he feels like the team has open field tackled so far through 2 full days in full pads.
I think it's been pretty good with the safeties running the alley, especially backers on the outside and things like that. I think our angles need to be cleaned up. Obviously, especially in different situations when you get tired is the big thing, right? You get to period 13, 14, 15, and it looks different than 3 and 4. But you got to learn how to play through that fatigue, and that angle's got to stay the same. That strain's got to stay the same. So like that's the biggest thing is the angles and what are you targeting every time and the consistency of that. And I think it's been for the most part pretty good. We talk about that every day. Now, obviously, tackling's huge.
Did you also, was it about this time last year that Blake kind of took over the defense?
Yeah.
Wasn't like I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but that was kind of out of self-preservation. I mean, maybe it was not quite this time last year, but it was pretty, once they started, might have been after the first scrimmage.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right.
Season. I think it was after the first scrimmage.
Tune back in next Monday to hear any possible potential Pirate updates on the Patrick Johnson Show at 5 o'clock.
All right. Let's see. Well, look, we got videos of it all over our socials. It's talking season, and these guys talked a little, but not a lot. But that's fine. They talked at least, and it was something different. What do we got next?
Number 2.
Number 2, a federal court has denied the NCAA's request to pause a preliminary injunction that grants a 5th year of eligibility to high school recruiting class of 2022. While the NCAA fights to reverse the ruling, a 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, the injunction will remain active following the qualifying athletes to compete in the 26-27 season. Speaking of some of those qualifying athletes, the Sports Objective podcast was last night, and J.D. Lampley, as well as Sam Danka, commented. They were in the comments, and they said that they would be open to returning as Pirates for the 2026 season.
So they slid into the DMs or the comment sections? Is that what they did?
Yeah, they did slid right in those
they
DMs,
didn't log,
going down in the DM.
They didn't log in as guests?
No, they went under their name. And
do you think that they didn't log in as guests because if someone thought that they'd reached out to those guys directly, that they may have had credentials revoked?
Oh, no, I think they'd be fine because they're not.
Here.
Yeah, no, I think they're technically not on the roster, so they're good, but you never know.
I'm just saying you don't want to anger the gatekeeper. Yeah. Or should you go around, do it end around our guy Malcolm Gray? Does an outstanding job.
He does. I always say he's the hardest working man in ECU athletics between him and JJ. No disrespect to anybody else, but yeah.
So the question at this point Pilkington, is I guess the NCAA. Let me look at this because Kristovich put something out, and this may have changed since earlier today. The NCAA is still working to pause and ultimately overturn the federal court ruling, allowing the freshman class of 2022 a fifth year of eligibility. So that is still. So there was an appeal, as we said, denied, but still there's I guess an appeal to the appeal would be the way to describe it. So the NCAA is still very much, and again, this is a little race against time here because classes do start Monday. But what is drop ad typically?
I believe it's usually 5 p.m. Friday of the first week.
So they may have till the end of the week next week. I don't know how all that works. I'm just kind of figuring it out loud, doing a little back of the napkin math here, so to speak.
That's how it worked in the portal era, in January portal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they would. I think they have about a week and a half. But the clock's a ticking for these guys. And again, where certain athletes, one we're about to hear from or hear about, did you do Trimble at the beginning of that?
No, he's next.
Okay. Yeah. Where some people are already jumping on board, so to speak, Pilk. There are others who are, shall we say, maybe a little slow to go in because they're waiting to see what the courts ultimately decide. My guess, and again, we went over this yesterday, and this is not complaining or pointing a finger at anybody, but you have our chancellor sitting on the board of the NCAA committee that is kind of speaking out against this thing. And the NCAA is the one bringing the litigation. And so that's a little bit of an awkward situation, a little bit of an awkward look. So something will have to give here at some point. If these guys, and look, I don't think there's they weren't breaking any new ground. These guys wanted to come back. I mean, I think it's obvious all three of them. And I think I've even seen somewhere where Marlon Gunn has told somebody who said this guy wants to come back. So, all right, what's next, Pilk, on the top 5 at 5 here?
Number 3.
Alrighty, number 3, as PJ just mentioned, Seth Trimble, former North Carolina Tar Heel, was a senior in the class of 2022, was wanting to come back to North Carolina. Unfortunately, there was not a spot on the roster, so he has entered the transfer portal and is expected to play for the Louisville Cardinals this upcoming season if things go their way.
Rumor has it, Louisville paying him $3 million to go there.
KFC money's hitting good.
No, you know what's happened? Louisville has reconciled with Papa John. And so Papa John is back on the Louisville Express. We played did we play Louisville in a bowl game? No, was it a bowl game? It was the Birmingham Bowl. It must have been we played South Florida. It was not the Birmingham Bowl of Holt. This is the Birmingham Bowl of Skip Holtz in South Florida, and we're in that old dump of a stadium in Birmingham, and they made all the fans sit on one side, which was the hard camera facing side. So it looked like there was a bigger crowd there than there was. It looked pretty good on television, and I'm walking out of the press box as we did our pregame show from the press box that day. And I'm walking from one area to the other, and I met Papa John on the catwalk.
Really?
I did. He had tossed a pizza for the coin flip, I believe.
Because it was the Papa John's Bowl back then, right?
Right, it was the Papa John's Bowl back then, yes. Hit it.
Number 4.
Alrighty, number 4, PJ. I'm going to let you take this one away. What order we want to do this in? We've got 3 sound bites, all a little lengthy here.
Let's play this. Okay, so the latest out of the WNBA, Stephanie White, who has not once but twice not defended her player, Caitlin Clark, when the girl jumped on her and drove her forearm into her throat, defended the attacker, not Caitlin Clark, the Golden Goose. And then Sophie Cunningham, who has become one of the stars of the W. I'd say the second most popular player right now in that disaster of a league.
Second most popular player amongst people who aren't fans of it.
or emerge or a new fan.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think she's popular. She almost got her head taken off. So here is Stephanie White talking about making a statement before the game. And it's not uncommon, Pilk, for coaches to meet with the media before games. This happens all the time in baseball. It happens all the time in basketball. Pros we're talking about. So Stephanie White meeting with the assembled media in Indianapolis before the Fever's game last night.
No, I'm going to start today. This isn't necessarily for those people that are in this room. This is more for an online community that's trying to create narratives that simply don't exist. Trying to create a fabrication or distortion of who I am, of what I'm about. Our players' success, our players' health and wellness, our players' safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay.
Now, before we go any further, she's lying because there's pictures and video that have since come out that shows the play from a baseline angle. And guess what Stephanie White is doing?
Looking up at
watching the play from the sideline.
Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Fair.
Were there any
I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back.
Here she starts.
I ride with them 10 toes down all the time.
Now here's where she starts to go unhinged.
All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are f***ing playing. The reality is, with me, I will always lead with love. I will always lead with grace.
Live, laugh,
I
love.
will always lead with humility. And I will always lead with integrity.
So she's reading. She's now reading this statement. It's great theater to watch because she's unhinged and is barely composing herself, yet is reading a statement. This isn't from the heart. This is a prepared statement.
Doesn't mean I'll always get it right. I'm also human. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness,
the haters,
the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win.
Nobody's hijacking your league. It's fans coming in that have led to increased values of your franchises, that have led to chartered flights, that have led to sold-out arenas, for the most part, when a certain team or two are playing, that have led to higher TV numbers.
It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line.
Yeah.
Every day.
Starts to slam the table here, Bill.
When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Wow. That's right. You can go to HE double hockey stick. If you're not live, laugh, love, here's the thing.
Who does she sound like? We love everybody, but if you don't agree with us, you're bad. Who does that remind you of?
Democrat. It sounds like a different. Sounds like Michelle Obama, Michelle Mybell, Big Mike. That's what it sounds like. Or Kamala Harris. That's what it sounds like. They go low, we go high.
All righty. Do we want to hear Sophie defending her or Caitlin defending her first?
I was so disappointed to hear Caitlin Clark but Sophie's the one here. Because here's what happened. This lunatic went out. I mean, this was before the game.
Yep.
And coaches don't like to do anything out of character before the game. She calls this press conference. And she got booed by her home fans.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Sophie Cunningham.
But our locker room in there, it's tight, and we have each other's backs. Coach loves us. She didn't see the clip. At the end of the day, she didn't see the clip. And you know what, Dejanay, she is a hell of a player. She's a great defender. And so she coached her for I don't know how many years up in Connecticut. So give her flowers, and she didn't see it, and that's okay. Me and Steph are great. Steph is great with all of us. And so it's really the outside noise that's trying to distract us, but we're good.
I think Sophie Cunningham was told, here's a piece of paper, read off of it.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Here are the talking points. Because what are we hearing from outside noise? And again, this was a league that toiled in obscurity in their own bubble until it got shaken up when a really good player came and brought eyeballs. And there's petty jealousy over this. There's anger over this because of the player's skin tone, because of the player's sexuality, I would guess. There's anger over this. Maybe her politics, although I don't know her politics. And Caitlin Clark wisely says, I want everybody to be a fan, not just one side or the other. I'd not heard the Sophie comments. This is Caitlin Clark afterwards. I'd heard this and sent this to you. And again, I understand you, but play the Clark thing, then we'll make another comment. Yeah.
I talked to Steph earlier in the day too, and I think we forget a lot of times, like, we're human, and she has feelings, and there's moments that are really hard, and sometimes that's just the job you sign up for. But at the same time, like, it's okay to feel those emotions. And I just told her, like, I've been through the same thing. Like, there's been days where I've been really upset, and you can have the thickest skin in the world, but sometimes it does get to you. And, I think our world is just like, we love to hate. We love to divide. Like, that's all we want to do. Like, nobody wants to see each other succeed. And I think that's a really painful thing for myself to watch. I feel like we need to do a better job at uplifting each other. And I can assure you there was no way we were losing this game tonight. And I told her that before the game. Like, there was no way we were losing this game for her. And, it's tough. Like, that's my head coach. Like, I hated that our fans booed her before the game. That made me a little sick, to be honest. And you can disagree and this and that, and I get it. It's professional sports. People are going to boo. But, like, at the end of the day, that's our head coach, and we're going to ride for her, and we're always going to have our back, and that's never going to tear our locker room apart.
Always anonymous text line. Pressure reveals character. All right, last one.
Number 5, right?
Alrighty, number 5, 2017 NBA MVP Russell Westbrook has announced his retirement. He spent 18 seasons in the league, was a 9-time All-Star with 7 different teams.
Hall of Famer? I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You almost make double-digit All-Star games, yeah.
Played a long time. At one time, he was, if he wasn't the best, probably wasn't the best player in the league, but there was a time, Bill, he was top 5 players in the NBA.
Yeah, especially at that average, that triple-double.
And he was probably the best point guard in the NBA for a year or two.
One note real quick, Norby did just draw a walk. Second time he's been on base in a Rockies uniform. Just
all right, there you go.
Yeah.
A little bonus there on the top 5. All right, back. Brian Mull joins us next.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Has been in the keeping you comfortable business since 1961 on Hooker Road, Greenville. Steve Rhodes, second generation, gives each customer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Wilson Rhodes is an independent training comfort specialist specializing in new installations, home replacements, and service agreements on all makes and models. Go online at wilsonroads.com and finance up to 60 months on qualifying equipment. All told, get the job done right. Wilson Rhodes, you'll be comfortable in no time.
Is your pharmacy fumbling when it comes to customer service, prescription fills, compounding, medical equipment, and enteral intravenous therapy? Perhaps it's time for you to allow Healthwise Pharmacy to score a touchdown in regards to your pharmaceutical needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise Pharmacy puts you and your health first, offering top-of-the-line customer service, individual attention, and free prescription delivery to anywhere in Pitt County. Healthwise Pharmacy, 615 Memorial Drive in Greenville.
Oh, hey, welcome back.
Who's back reporting to duty?
You got here just in time.
Holy nuts, man.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3
Been too long. Brian Mull at BG Mull on X. Golf writer, basketball scribe, entrepreneur. Let's welcome Brian Mull back to the Patrick Johnson Show. A triumphant return as the PGA begins their FedEx Cup playoffs tomorrow. And we'll talk about that. HV3's win. I got some hoops for you. But how are you, buddy? I know one thing. I've not heard from you very much, especially following the breaking out of the brooms and the W flying at Wrigley when the Dodgers went in and got swept by my Cubby Bears.
my phone was down that week. There was a lot of static on this end. We're just going to act like we're just going to brush that. We'll take those brooms and brush that right underneath the old carpet, as they say. Everything's great. Just sweating it out down here in the port city, and exciting time of the year. Got some golf playoffs, football on the horizon, and cooler temperatures. Most importantly, not too far away.
Nothing like along the coast, the local summer, which is September and October. Best time of year at the beach, really is. Great to have Brian, as we said. All right, back by popular demand as well. Let's start with this PGA playoff and the 3-week FedEx Cup run. Anybody in this? I mean, I know they've kind of toiled a little bit with it. Give me your thoughts on, anybody who's maybe playing well right now going into this week. And are there guys that are sitting out this weekend or next weekend by chance?
I don't think Rory is playing this week. He has never played this event.
Well, he doesn't play half the time anyway, or majority of the time.
He doesn't He doesn't like Memphis. He doesn't like the Heat. He doesn't like the golf. I don't know exactly. He's obviously always positioned himself where he doesn't have to worry too much about losing, his ranking. And I'm just kind of double checking here. He's not in the field, which is interesting. But Jackson Coyven getting in. I think there's a name to watch. Slipping in.
I love that dude's game, man. I love that guy's game. I really do.
And I think it's been a great. I think we're seeing a changing of the guard here a little bit with 3 consecutive 24-year-old winners, and I would continue to bet on them, or just believe in them in that. This time of year it's hot. They're going to some hot venues, and being young and being able to keep your energy level up and your stamina. And I just think there's something to be said too for being in your 20s and not having all the other responsibilities that we all know that come with getting a little bit older, the off the course, the family things, which are all wonderful and beautiful and enhance your life, but also take much more of your time away from the golf course.
If you look at what Scotty Scheffler's done this year, you would say, man, if it were anybody else other than Scotty Scheffler, you'd say, God, what a year this person's had. But it's Scotty Scheffler, and he didn't win a major, and he's come close but no cigar a couple times. Is there anything in Scotty's game that you think, one, has ailed him this year and has lent itself to these opportunities not becoming realized? And is there any part of his game that may be rounding into form that would give him a legitimate shot to maybe run the table on this thing?
The interesting thing about Scotty and why he has been able to be so remarkably consistently excellent over the last several seasons is he was head and shoulders above the even elite tour players at approach game. His iron play was honestly and arguably on the same level as Tiger Woods, especially on the longer shots where you can really gain some separation. The shots around 200 yards, and that has slipped this year. I mean, it's certainly not anything to be embarrassed about, but he's 11th in approach to the green, which is a category he's dominated. Not only finished first, but by a wide margin in recent seasons.
Yeah, but 11's still pretty damn good, though, Brian. 11's still pretty damn good.
Still pretty good, but that has narrowed his his margin for error. And then the one that's shocking to me is he's 100th in proximity. So, like, if you take all of his iron shots and add them together and then average them out, his average shot is 37 feet and 5 inches on all of his approach shots for the season, which, will probably surprise a lot of amateur golfers. These guys do not hit it as close to the hole as it seems. We're only seeing their best shots on TV, but he's in 100th. There's 99 people that are better than him. And the goal of golf, especially at that level, is, obviously you have to get off the tee and avoid penalty, but you want to get your ball as close to the hole as possible on approach so you have birdie putts. And, you make a fair share of them, and there you are. And he's slipped there. Now, we have seen a little bit better iron play of late from him. And just look at some of his numbers, like approaches from 200 to 225. He's 80th. And that was an area where he was dominant. So I think Scotty could win 2 of these events and win the FedEx Cup and erase all of these, near misses, close finishes, non-major type year that he's had pretty quickly. He's still putting pretty well, compared to what we were looking at. He's 7th on the tour in putting and 2nd in putting average. One putting line. So if he can get his iron game back to, just the Scotty Scheffler level, but he's had a great year, and look, you're not going to have a year like he's had the last couple of years every year. If you do that over time, you're Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah. The great Brian Mull with us here, golf scribe, former caddy 2 times on the PGA Tour, long stints both times. I want to talk some live with you because HV3, who we all love, finished second last week, got over $2 million. Joaquin Neiman, there's another guy that we probably don't talk about because he's on Live, but that guy's a hell of a golfer too. That guy plays. I like his game.
Yeah.
So let's talk the whole Live thing. You read some things that say they've got some seed money coming in or some money to keep this thing rolling. It's not what you have seen, or not the unlimited checkbook like the Saudis, which did reach a limit, surprisingly to me in some respects. But
yeah,
could Live become more viable now with going to 72 holes, with the Saudis not being involved? I mean, you've still got Rahm, you still got DeChambeau, and in my mind, must-see TV. Again, I think Neiman's a great player. HV3, there's probably not a more popular player among golfers than HV3. So let's quick comment maybe on what Harold did and what he's done. And anytime I think Harold does well or gets a win, I'm happy for him.
No doubt. I mean, fantastic. I remember talking to Harold down in Augusta, the last Masters that he played in right after he had signed to Live, and obviously there was a lot of narrative and grandstanding among some of the more prominent media, and guys were kind of picking sides, and often they were not picking the Live side. And Harold, who's always been nothing but open and welcoming and honest with not only me but any member of the media, probably one of the more honest guys in professional golf, and most transparent and real. He felt a little burnt, a little hurt. I could, in some interactions that he had with some colleagues of mine there, and rightfully so. And, he told me plainly, like, look, I've got this foot condition that the doctors don't know that what type of longevity I'm going to have. And he said, I used to come home from the golf course, and if Dad hadn't sold enough cars, the lights were off. And I'm going to Live, and they're guaranteeing me X amount of money. They're guaranteeing me money that's going to help me build the foundation to help other kids, junior golfers, male and female, who came up in a similar situation. And I was like, you can find negatives in anything. There's nothing negative about this decision or this situation as it pertains to this person who I've known since he was 15 or 16 years old. And thrilled for Harold, like you said. Anytime he does well, I think it's great for golf. I wish that we could get all these guys together in some form or fashion. Golf does not need. It's almost like Live now is like copying some of what the tour did in an interim. I mean, it just it's a lot of reactive decision making and behavior, and with the vanishing Phil Mickelson and, DJ at the tail end of his career, and now Koepka back on the tour. And, they have Bryson and John Rahm and Neiman, and not much else. I would love to see a global tour, where we can get everybody back together, get these world rankings to make some sense again, and then use those to decide who gets to play in the big tournaments, and get as the PGA Tour is doing next year, get the best players together.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was never a big NASCAR guy, but I lived in Pinehurst, and we used to go to Rockingham a few times, just to basically have fun. And, the great thing about going to Rockingham was you knew that Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon and, the big boys were all going to be there. And like a golf fan last week that wanted to roll up to Greensboro, they didn't know who was going to be there. And, rightfully so, a lot of the top guys were not, because they've got a big stretch coming up of important events. And that's an element of it when you're asking these sponsors to put up all this money. They've got to know what they got to know what they're selling. If you're selling lemons or you're selling Cadillacs. And so I'd just like to get them all together. Let's get all these guys together. That's why the majors have been so compelling in recent years, because it's the only opportunity we get to see the best players.
Yeah, good point. Brian Mull with us here. We'll hit a break, come back more. Want to talk to Brian about the 5-5 2022 ruling. Got another golf follow-up with him. We'll do that on the other side.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Football and cooler weather. This is Rachel Davis with Advanced Mechanical Heating and Air. We wanted to thank you for the trust you have put in us this summer. Before you know it, cooler temperatures will arrive, signaling winter is on the way. Don't wait. Prepare now for colder temperatures by scheduling a tune-up. Give us a call today at 252-355-9191 or visit our website, advancedmechnc.com.
Turn your car into cash with an instant Kelley Blue Book offer from Barber Hendrick Honda in Greenville. Go online to barberhendrickhonda.com to value your trade, explore inventory, and apply for financing, all from the comfort of home. At Barber Hendrick Honda, we have great deals on new inventory and an extensive used inventory that includes all makes and models. Schedule service for your vehicle online and take advantage of our monthly specials. Barber Hendrick Honda, a proud member of the Eastern North Carolina community at the point of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, Brian Mull with us here. President's Cup next month. You know, the international team, I'm hearing a lot about how everybody thinks this is a loaded group. And I just kind of wonder, does the U.S. miss an opportunity at the President's Cup with not using it as a way to get younger guys experience for the Ryder Cup?
You know, it's like the most obvious thing, and nobody can capitalize on it because you've got the PGA of America running the Ryder Cup, and they are completely independent and have been since the late 60s from the PGA Tour, which created and runs the President's Cup. And the fact, even though we have the same players playing on both those teams, in some instances we have the same, not captains per se, but vice captains or assistant captains helping out. And we have this opportunity to narrow the gap and possibly even overtake the Europeans, who have this very stable, productive, proven system of winning in place and have for decades. And this is our opportunity because they don't have an off-year event, and we don't use it properly. Akshay Bhatia should have been playing in the last President's Cup in Canada over Russell Henley or someone of that nature that was on the tail end of their career. And no question. I mean, we have as strong a group. All you have to do is watch your TV the last 3 Sundays, and we've got the future and the youth of golf. You know, I mean, the prime used to be 32 to 35. Well, now it's like 22 to 25 in some ways. And these guys should be getting that experience. They should be figuring out which partnerships work, because that's been our biggest problem. When you look at the Europeans, they just have these partnerships that you can just count on for 5 and 6 Ryder Cups. And like, we could be using the President's Cup to figure out what actually works, not what works in an analytics room, but what works on a golf course. And, they've mishandled it. I do think Webb Simpson has positioned himself nicely to hopefully be a captain of the Ryder Cup going forward. Because I think he's still connected enough and smart and likable enough to fill that role better than the people that have been filling it recently.
All right, the great Brian Mull with us here. I got 2 hoops questions for you.
Okay.
Seth Trimble to Louisville because the Tar Heels with the roster.
What are we doing,
I'm just
Patrick?
Throwing it out there.
I know,
I'm throwing the ball up and
it's not
letting
your
you
fault,
go.
Patrick. You didn't make the rules. What are we doing? What on earth are we doing? You know, I got a couple years of eligibility left. I'm going to go play some golf.
You could. I
think I would.
That Louisville roster is. I mean, he just adds to it, I presume.
But I'll play some.
I think class is optional at this point.
Good. That's what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, there's the drama even brewing here in Greenville with football and some other sports, and I mean, there's some other people who. Other places that are adding people back, you know, even though the thing is still kind of in a little bit of legal limbo. Every time you think there's no ridiculousness, or it couldn't be anything more ridiculous, we get more ridiculousness.
I'm going to tell you what's happened. We have the NCAA discombobulated buffoons with an antiquated model forever, and now they were so ill prepared for what happened and in denial with their big collective fat heads in the sand, that now we're having court judges and God forbid politicians making decisions about college athletics, and here we are with Seth Trimble, who just played college basketball for a long time. He's going to pop up in Louisville with Papa John's money and play some ball for the Cardinals.
I want to play something for you.
Good for Seth Trimble. I got no problem with Seth Trimble. I'm happy for Seth Trimble because he certainly ain't going to make that kind of money playing professionally, and he seems like a great human being, but it's ridiculous. And even Dan Hurley, who is ridiculous most of the time himself, called that out earlier this week, and he was absolutely right.
All right, last thing for you. It involves all politics are local. East Carolina, who will play the UNCW Seahawks on a Saturday, November 7th in Greenville. Get your tickets now. I'm kind of, they released the non-con schedule. And I noticed a couple things on the Pirate non-con schedule.
Okay.
The University of Virginia Lynchburg and the North Carolina Wesleyan Battling Bishops. I'm going to play a cut from John Gilbert, the AD, because Stephen Igo on his radio show on Tuesday asked him about this. So this is John Gilbert on the non-con scheduling in basketball.
I, being this young administrator, opened my mouth not knowing that I'm going to upset Mike Sly when I say this. And I said, hey, if we look at the Mountain West, they're getting 3 and 4 teams in. Well, if you look at what they're doing, the middle to bottom half of the Mountain West are all playing 2 non-Division I teams. And the reason they're doing that is it doesn't hurt their RPI. And when a top team in the Mountain West plays a bottom team, it's not affecting them as much. And so there are a lot of leagues that are gaming the RPI and the quad 1, quad 2 wins, etc.
I get it.
He's right.
But if you're in the so-called mid-major realm, and all we're hearing and having jammed down on us is the P4 wants to create all these made-for-TV events. Everything's got to be a made-for-TV matchup. Again, I get it what he's saying about the math and the RPI and what have you, and I also get survival. And you gotta because somebody's not going to schedule ECU in a Power 4 necessarily. It's just not going to happen.
There's no need.
Yeah, right, and if you were trying to figure out, okay, how do we improve basketball scheduling so the American, which I thought a couple years ago probably was a multi-bid league, the last 3 years, I think 2 out of the 3 years you could make a case. Last year, I felt like Tulsa's resume was actually good enough. They probably, in a normal situation, probably would have been considered as an at-large bid before basketball has lost its mind. Also, the year before, nobody was really good enough to be an at-large. But I think 2 of the last 3 seasons, you could make a case where the league probably deserved to have more than just one representative.
I mean, if you're any good, like High Point was good last year. Like I watched High Point and Wilmington play a preseason scrimmage in Trask, and I said those are they won. I think they won 58 basketball games between them. I mean, I was like those two teams could compete with the bottom of the ACC. They couldn't get both coaches I spoke with around that time. They couldn't get anybody to play them. And what is the advantage of even a lower level SEC to play them? I mean, I see the advantages. You see the advantages, but like the guy who's making the schedule, some assistant coach, if he says, "Hey, coach, I got High Point on the schedule," and then High Point comes into your arena in November and with that team and beats you by 10 or 15, that assistant coach better be tightening up his resume and getting on the phone because like his tenure there may be. Those are the kind of games that can get a coach fired because, the average fan goes, we should never, ever, ever lose the High Point, even though High Point won a game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's just – and as these leagues have gone to 18 and 20 games and as they've eliminated for example, like a CAA school used to get to play in the Charleston Classic, which was a fine, and these made for ESPN Thanksgiving tournaments. And they would have an opportunity to play 2 or 3 high major opponents. And not only was it a great measuring stick and probably a more difficult opponent they'd see in their league, but like Charleston won that thing one year and other teams made the finals, and those opportunities are gone. Plus you're not going to get the home and home. And he's right with the Mountain West. I mean, you're much better off scheduling a non-D1 than scheduling someone from the SWAC or the Atlantic Sun or, on the Northeast Conference or any of these leagues that are perpetually 275 to 350, 360. So I don't know. The problem is, and this sounds awful as someone who has, carved his reputation and life in major basketball, the entity is too big. It's the only 360 plus team league in the world. I mean, if there's another one, I'm willing to hear about it. But you cannot build a league that caters to 360 different organizations. Some are public, some are private, some are, have football, some don't. I mean, it's just there's too much. There's no way you can create an equitable playing field.
Well, and as much as we hear about everything football driving things, don't underscore the basketball issues that have been going on for really about a decade and a half. The number 365 and number 1 aren't even in the same neighborhood.
No, and if you trimmed it to 100, Patrick, guess what? The ACC teams would start playing some teams out of the American if they could only play teams that were in that 100 team league.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Hey, Brian, good to talk to you again. Always great to get your perspective on all of this. We'll look forward to talking to you soon. I hope all is well for you, my friend.
Always a pleasure. I'm going to try not to be such a stranger. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week and rest of their summer.
All right, there he goes, Brian Mull. Appreciate it very much. Interesting stuff, especially about HV3 and that. All right, Pilk, we got one more thing here. It's not in the top 5. We got to get ready to go. Can we play that audio bit?
Here are some stories we didn't get to today.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Pilk. Liz and Dick Wooleen donated $35 million to Northwestern football.
Wow.
Yeah. Pirates play there next September 2027. That's more than Monster paid every Big 12 member combined.
That's some moolah, baby.
It's some moolah. Serious moolah. All right, thanks to Brian Mull. Thanks to Philip. Thanks to Adam Hill. Also, thanks to Logan Wilcox for his help with the show today as well. When we rejoin you tomorrow, we're going to talk more about this 5 and 5, 20 and 22, and who knows where we'll be tomorrow, because it's an ever-evolving situation as far as ECU and really everybody goes.